So into the charts we go, guys. Take a look at what happened to Bitcoin. So after a reversal up yesterday where we re-attacked the 30,500 level, the Bitcoin market collapsed back down. Couple things to note here. Number one, low, lower low, lower low. All right, so again, that is just something that I'm paying attention to. It doesn't mean everything by any stretch, but it is something that I'm just taking note of. You are making lower lows every time you push down over the last 3 days. Another thing to keep in mind is we're getting closer and closer to this little area of support here. Now, there's a new trend line I want to introduce to you guys. And again, this is the beauty of trading and analyzing charts, is that sometimes you discover new trend lines. And this, to me, is a very, very important one. All right, so take a look. Connect these highs through this area, through that high, through that low, 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 and low. All right, so you see how many pivot points on each side the price hits, or how many times it hits on that price. That means it's significant. And the reason why I'm paying attention to this is that we broke above this, and ever since we broke above it, we've been definitely in kind of this upward biased market, aside from hitting resistance. If we break below this trend line, that would be where you now open the door to downside. In addition, you could make a case that this line is almost parallel to this line, right? Very, very close to parallel line right here. So again, to me, this is very important. And in addition, if we look at this area right here, right? So again, let's just say we draw that line in from 28,700. Remember 28,700 was our big resistance here before we broke above it. Look at how these two lines are converging. So what this tells me is that basically these two lines converging create a major level at 28,700, which means if price breaks below that level, that begins that bigger accelerated move to the downside, where we then have support at 25,000. But really, we could go down and test this upsloping trend line, which is virtually parallel to this line. All right, so to summarize, you have resistance at 30,500. All right, I gave you guys this level a month ago, 30,500. It has held up like a champ thus far. Is it possible that you could eventually break above it? Yeah, of course. I mean, in fact, I would almost guarantee eventually we do, just a matter of is it within days, weeks, months, or years. But the bottom line is, again, on the downside, 28,700 area here, this now becomes the big level. This is now a big level, not just because of this longer-term trend line I found, but also because it's a flat top convergence of those two levels. All right, so again, these are the things that I look for in the charts, and these are the things that give me a bias of kind of understanding what are the big points of interest on Bitcoin. All right, again, if we fall through this area, 25,000 is support, then we have support around 21 to 22,000 right down here. All right, let's take a look at the Ethereum chart. Look at that drop on Ethereum, guys. Considering we are short, that's awesome. I would have kind of liked us to touch this upper line at 2165 or so, because then I could have added to my short. That's fine. We're actually not that far out of the money on our short. If I'm correct and this is a bigger move to the downside, we're going to make plenty of money as it is. Upsloping trend line right here, that's kind of what we're getting close to here around 1950. We then have this blue line at 1895, and then really this middle point, which is about 1700, followed by 1500. But either way, that is a nasty red candle on Ethereum. And again, you know, I stress this to you guys more than anyone in these videos, but you have to keep an eye on sentiment. So the charts tell us and guide us what resistance and support lines are. The sentiment tells us when that reversal is likely to get close to taking place, off of which major level. And again, what I mean by that is that, you know, and I said this so many times, but the sentiment in the Bitcoin and the crypto markets has never been stronger. Even when we were at 69,000, it was basically the same as it is now. That, again, is a negative divergence. All right, so again, watch for Ethereum. Let's see if it gets through this line and this line. If it does, you start trading with the downside possibility of 1,700. Let's take a look at altcoins. Now, you guys know I've been a doubter on altcoin season. The reason why I've been a doubter is because if you flip on any social media place, you have everyone talking about an altcoin season, right? And when everyone talks about it, what does that mean? Well, it means that everyone's already long. And if you haven't seen the pump that because everyone was buying in at that point, then what makes you think that the pump is going to happen once everyone's long? Like who is there left to buy to create the pop in the altcoins if everyone's already bullish, right? I mean, these are the things that you have to kind of think about. So what do we have on Matic? I was warning you guys on Matic that, again, it was a very weak chart. Well, now we have a break point here. Now, it's not confirmed, but it is a break to the downside. Your first major support is going to come in around 103 to 104, followed by 92 to 93 cents. And again, this was kind of, I mean, think about the cues this was giving us. The cues it was telling us when you saw Solana rallying. And Solana, by the way, still didn't even make new highs, but at least it was popping a little bit. Avalanche, Polkadot, these were popping a little bit. So at least in those cases, those were getting a bid, which was decent. This was never really getting more than a small, tiny uptick. It was telling us that it could fall to the downside, and that's exactly what it did. All right, BNB real quick. BNB did touch this upper line. Look at that. Pivot high to pivot high to pivot high, and there's the fall. Look at that beautiful drop on BNB. Now, where's your support on BNB? Very simply put, you have 307. That's your first support. And then these two trend lines down here, let me put that back in. And again, they've now diverged. So again, they are diverged. So this will be support and this will be support right down here. These other ones I'm going to erase for now because I don't think it's worth talking about. And even this one, this is a much more important trend line than those that I had in before. So basically, resistance is up at 354 to 355, and then you have 360, 65 right above it. Support line is around 307. All right, let's continue through. Let's take a look at Solana here. Solana, beautiful dump. Notice how Solana couldn't even get to that high-end trend line there, which again was a pivot high from here and right through here. That shows me relative weakness. Now, where's your support going to be? Right down here, right? So 2075, that is your support on Solana. Would I consider going long on Solana right around that level? There's actually a chance. If we got there, let's say by tomorrow, meaning we had a big down day today and a big down day into that level tomorrow, yeah, I actually probably would take a quick swing trade. I also see this line here. Look at that line. Right at that same area. So there's lots of levels right here around 2075, 2050 on Solana. Watch that level, guys. Again, valid if we fall straight into it. And I want to stress that, guys. It's not like in 2 weeks if we get there. It's not going to be valid. The time factor of trades is of the utmost importance. All right, let's take a look at Polkadot real quick. Polkadot, nasty fall. I was just looking and I saw on Twitter yesterday how so many people were like, oh, Polkadot's going to rip up and it's going to be the next big mover. Boops, there it goes to the downside, right? And this is why I don't chase things. Like, even though we were talking about how this was above support here and it was consolidating, yeah, not a bad chart, but look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then gets above. Yeah, it has 1 day of pullback. That doesn't mean it's bullish consolidation, right? And so, again, pops back up, starts to get people excited, rug pull right there. Don't get fooled by that hype, guys. And again, you know, it's one thing, and this is what I always stress to people, is that sometimes it's not about the money you miss making, it's about the money you avoid losing. And when people lose a lot of money, that's actually more detrimental than missing a few trades where you could have had good profits in your pocket. And again, for me, that's been a difference maker in my trading career. Find the highest probability trades and do those. Don't take trades just because you want to take trades, because it's about the losers that literally knock you back tenfold steps and you have to climb out of that hole just to get back to break even. Taking a look at Cardano. Nasty pullback on Cardano. Look at what it did hit today. There's a pivot point here and here. We did confirm above this, so this is support. Would this be a buyable level? For me, no. For some people, maybe. Yes, it's a confirmed support, so you could get a little bit of a bounce. My pushback for why I don't take this trade is because it's not a big enough fall yet where, again, what am I going to get on a bounce off this level? Maybe back here, so I'm going to get a penny, 2 pennies on it. That's not enough for me to get out of bed for a swing trade. I want to know that I can make percentage-wise at minimum 10%. That's kind of my goalpost at minimum. Obviously, I want to look for a chart that I'm going to make more than that, but at minimum, I want to make at least 10%. A bounce back here, which is going to be resistance, that's basically not even 5%. All right, Avalanche, let's take a quick look at this one here. Nasty fall, did hit resistance yesterday, absolutely. And again, look at that big fall from yesterday. And again, where's your support? Right down here. Right down in this 1750-ish area, give or take. That is your support technical level. All right, guys, I'm going to get going, but as always, I hope these videos come to you and are useful. I hope you guys are able to take some educational points away from it, and if anything, I hope I can guide you to not following in the FOMO footsteps of so many people out there that throw their money down a rabbit hole and then ultimately end up getting long when they should be actually getting short, or at least staying away from trades. And again, I'll keep guiding you as I always do, and I will keep giving you the best analysis that I'm able to give. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.